Been a hot minute.
Yeah, it has been a hot minute. I can't remember exactly when they would have said that.
Yeah.
But.
Do you know what I hate about the internet?
Huh.
I hate that nothing I read anymore I actually know if it's true.
Oh yeah.
So in an effort to make things that much more easy, right? We have the internet, which now it's actually harder because now you read something, you have to go back and proof it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, you have to proof the proof that you found on that proof.
Yeah, so the other day I saw something that was like, oh, Step Brothers 2 is coming out summer of 2025, I think. And I got all excited because I love that movie. And I thought, man, a sequel of that, that's right up my alley.
Yeah.
But now I don't know if it's true or not.
Can't be true. Is it true?
I don't know. I wish it was true.
This is where AI and Chat GPT come in huge handy.
Yeah. Well, and then you wonder that. I mean, that's just scrubbing the internet, right?
When did you?
I don't know. Maybe a week ago I saw that. Then the other thing is like, so you probably watched the football games, right? This weekend, or the football game, the one that everybody's talking about. And I don't know how many millions of articles I've read that, you know, the ref is being called to the carpet and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, is any of this true? You know, when
Step Brothers 2 has not been officially announced or confirmed. Where there have been rumors and interest from fans. Will Ferrell and Adam McKay have stated in interviews that they are not planning a sequel.
See, that's
ChatGPT, man. It's the best.
I got all excited for nothing.
Yeah.
And then the football game. There's been a billion articles about it.
Oh, yeah. That's nonstop.
What's your take?
I mean,
I was mostly excited today. I'm like, we have a Q&A episode, I should say, today, but I got my own questions, which was one of them. Is my favorite football fan. I was curious as to what your take was.
Neither of them are my team.
Sure.
Like my just diehard team.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a massive fan of Josh Allen. I think he's incredible. Mm-hmm. I can't believe he's never won any awards. It's unbelievable.
What do you like about him? Is it that he played for Wyoming?
I mean, yeah, for sure.
That's my favorite thing about it.
It is cool that he played for Wyoming, for sure. I love his playing style. I love his attitude. I love, he's a modern day Brett Favre. Like you got to love the guy. And his decision making has gotten incredible. Now,
the first 2 plays of the game
he truly was the modern day Brett Favre early, and he's kind of grown out of that. But
first 2 plays of the game, I was like, "Whoa, what are we doing?"
Yeah, the guy's got a fucking rocket arm. Mm-hmm. You know, he's awesome. But I've said it on a podcast before as well. I am a fan of greatness. Sure. I love greatness, and I love that I am seeing my Tom Brady. Like I am living my Tom Brady, Michael Jordan. Yeah, this is it for me with Mahomes.
Yeah.
And so I love that too. Like our parents get to talk about Michael Jordan and Tom Brady and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was alive back then.
I mean, we caught like the tail end of it.
I was like 13, 14.
We got the tail end of it, but not the start.
Sure.
Like we've caught the Mahomes
wasn't
start
right in the midst.
whole way. Like Mahomes' starting season was right in my prime of being a massive NFL fan.
Yep.
And so it's awesome to watch. So having said that, I'm a huge fan of both of them. When you look at, there's a lot of calls in question, I guess, that could go either way. But like the main one that everyone's picking on is if they converted the 4th and 1.
Why doesn't football have goal line technology? They've got it in soccer. They have it in tennis.
I know,
like in tennis, you can see the ball hit. I mean, they can review it, see exactly where the ball hit.
Put a sensor in the ball and actually run a line between it. They should. I have no issues with that. They should.
Do you think that has to happen next year?
I think it should happen. I don't know about has to, but I think it should. Yeah. I mean, if the NFL is as big as it is and there's so much money being involved, whether it be on the teams and the sport itself or the sports betting, I think they should. I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't get that. But when it comes down to call and play, like, can you actually definitively say without a shadow of a doubt that he crossed the first down? Yeah. I can't.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to look at it as unbiased as possible because both of them aren't my teams. I would be so happy if Josh Allen went to the Super Bowl or watching Mahomes try to win another one. Sure. Like, I'm equally as happy.
Yeah.
But can anyone definitively say, without a shadow of a doubt, yes, he got that first down? And I don't think you can.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could.
What about the ball that hit the turf?
I think you should have caught that. I think Josh Allen did everything in his power.
I'm not talking the last one. I'm talking the one that they converted. So the Chiefs, they called it a catch. It was like a 50-50 ball.
Oh, that was a catch.
Yeah,
that was for sure.
But then in the review, showed it hitting the ground, hitting the turf.
But it didn't move.
I don't know.
The ball didn't move. Like that one I can pretty confidently.
What's funny to me is like you see all the reviews, and I'm not really a fan either. I like to play devil's advocate. It seems like every possibility. So I was kind of hoping the Bills would win just for kicks, and I like Josh Allen too.
The officiating ruling in the NFL though is, can you definitively overturn the call that was made on the field? Because the call on the field takes precedence, the original call.
Yeah. Which goes the
Can
Chiefs'
you,
way.
without a shadow of a doubt, call it the other way? And that ball didn't move.
Yeah.
That's
fair
why, like,
enough.
the Josh Allen thing, did he get the first down?
Yeah.
Everyone's saying, well, the one line judge called it that he got the first down. Yeah, that's the far side line.
Yeah.
You think he had a better view than the guy who's looking right at it? Like,
I don't know how they ever make that call. How do you ever make that call? It's just a scrum.
Here's
it's just
all
a
I can
pile
say.
of people.
Here's all I can say. The play calling is ridiculous on
I
4th
agree.
and 1s for Buffalo.
Yeah, I agree.
Like everyone knew Josh Allen was going to the left.
Why don't you see your running backs been torching?
Like the tush push thing that the Eagles do so well. Buffalo has nobody pushing Josh Allen. Like he just does it all himself. Granted, he's a lot bigger and stronger, but like, where's the push?
Yeah.
Like, why isn't Kincaid pushing him?
This is a fun game. Fun game to watch.
It was an awesome game to watch.
So the biggest question is Taylor Swift running the NFL? is she the actual commissioner?
I mean, there's a lot.
I mean, she's putting butts in seats. You think about the number of people that will watch the Super Bowl
because of her.
I mean, you have a whole contingency of people that are going to watch the Super Bowl that probably maybe not otherwise because they might show her on the camera.
There's been some pretty legitimate, I don't know what you call it, like studies or what would be the word? Like math. I don't know. Studies. We'll call it that. She has upped NFL viewership by 30%.
For sure.
And it's like pretty legit when you dive into the math, like how these people are calculating that. I mean, last Super Bowl, for a good example, last Super Bowl was up 30% over the previous. What's the difference? Mm-hmm. It's her.
I mean,
she was there.
I'm a Taylor Swift fan. I like her, so I don't know what she means for the NFL, but I like her as a person.
There's a lot. Look, there's a lot of theories that 1 + 1 seems to equal 2.
Sure.
When it comes to,
I mean, the amount of
are they forcing Kansas City to be in the Super Bowl because of her? The viewership to this or that.
A lot of 1 + 1 equals 2. Common sense. The amount of viewers you're going to get, one versus the other, you'll get way more.
Yeah.
Just for the people that tune in to see her 4 or 5 times sitting in a box.
Here's the craziest thing though. Like take the Taylor Swift, all that stuff out of it. What I find the wildest thing ever is you have Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. One or multiple of them will never win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because they're all just so stacked and they're all so good.
Yeah. No, I
and then
hear
you look at the other side and it's like, wait, how did all these quarterbacks go on the AFC? How
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I knew you'd be watching.
I don't know about you. I'm really excited to see what Jaden Daniels does next year.
Oh yeah,
because
Jaden Daniels is
as a rookie this year.
He's
absolutely insane.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is a stud. That I'm very excited about that too. But when you look at just the quarterbacks on one side as opposed to the other, I mean Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I mean it's insane. And then you got on the other side, you got Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, where those are the last 2 starting quarterbacks for a Super Bowl. Now you have Jaden Daniels, which is cool.
Can the Eagles win a Super Bowl? I mean, they put up some points, put some points on the board.
Is Taylor Swift going to call it the other way?
I hope so. She might, the commissioner of the NFL, T. Swift, she might make a call.
There's a lot of interesting storylines in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
I'll never say it again, but I'm definitely with the Eagles on this
you're
one.
All the way Eagles?
Yeah, and I'll never say that again in my life. But
just because you don't want to see Kansas City.
I appreciate how good Mahomes is, but it's definitely very much like how people used to treat the Patriots when they were going off. It's just like you kind of bandwagon hate. Man, but Mahomes is so pouty, and that's what I can't stand.
My jealousy with New England is that I wasn't there to witness all of it. So when people talk about it, I'm like, I get mad because I'm like, yeah, but I didn't see it the whole way through. Like I wasn't into the NFL when Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl. I was too young. I didn't understand it. Now this is my Tom Brady, so I love it. I want to see him win 3 in a row.
I like the psychology of sports and sports fans. It's interesting to me that like the Chiefs, they're kind of, they kind of come up, win a Super Bowl, they get to be good, they're starting to develop good. Everybody's on board. They're a fan. They win too. Then Taylor Swift gets involved. You have this whole, bandwagon effect, and then people are bailing, just like, oh, we're out of here now because they got too good, too popular. People, too
popular, too fast.
People love, man. They love to hate. They really do.
Everyone wants to see a rise.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves to see a rise, but they absolutely want to see the fall come next.
Yeah, I think they like the fall better than the rise.
Oh, they for sure do. They only want to see the rise because then they get to see the fall.
Right.
That's the motivation of the rise.
Good point.
Nobody wants to see the rise and keep rising.
It's
Nobody wants to.
Pretty funny. I
which
know
is
that,
bullshit.
My youngest kid, he was a Chiefs fan. He's a Chiefs fan until now. And he's rooting for the Bills to win. Now we could go either way on the Eagles.
I don't know what it is in me, but I love the rise and the continued rise.
Yeah.
I am very motivated. I'm not one of those. I think I've told you this before too. I'm not motivated by speeches or one-off feats. I'm not necessarily motivated by that. I am I get emotional, an emotional charge of motivation with pure greatness. Watching people do shit that is
consistency,
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Consistency and the continued rise.
Yeah, do it again.
Elon Musk kind of stuff.
Interesting.
Right? Jeff Bezos kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I had
Patrick Mahomes kind of stuff.
I had to ask today. I knew that would be.
Yeah.
And Evan, thanks for chiming in.
He's a football guy too.
I figured I'd chime in a little bit. Last podcast.
Yeah, Evan's been on the switchboards for how many episodes? Do you know? A year.
This is number 30, I think.
30. So you've been with us for a while.
Yep.
You're moving on. This is your last week.
Yep.
We got Danielle.
Sad.
In the waiting wings.
We've liked having Evan. It's been good.
Yeah, it's been good.
It's been a good time.
Over there with the baby face though.
I know. I walked in today and I said, "You still look the same. You just look 15 years younger." Why'd you have to shave? Give us the rundown where you're headed.
The new job I'm heading to, just gotta have a shaved face for training.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the new job?
Can't say.
I'm gonna
top secret.
keep it off hair.
Okay. That's what I wanted to
top
get
secret.
out there. Yeah.
Well, we wish you nothing but luck, man.
I appreciate it.
Sure.
It's been good having
Always
you.
Got a home here too, obviously.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And we'll have Danielle in the future.
Danielle's got to deal with us. Oh boy.
Are you a Chiefs fan or an Eagles fan? Do you care? Well, you'll be here a while before we ask
you'll be a while. Hey, Raiders just hired your best head coach you've ever had. Yeah, Pete Carroll. That's the big news in Vegas right now.
That's right. That is big news. Well, Brady's gone.
Yes, he is.
We heard rumor that they shot a couple pigs.
I have not heard anything.
Hogs. I heard just 10 minutes ago.
I get left in the dark about all this stuff.
I didn't know either. Omar told me.
Okay.
So I got it.
Good to know he's told you.
I got it secondhand. But it sounds like they're having a good time.
Good.
I thought we'd do a Q&A episode because this time of year I'm getting lots of DMs, lots of emails, and thought we'd put a prompt out. So we did yesterday, and you guys responded resoundingly. I think we had, I don't know how many pages, lots and lots of questions. So there's a decent chance that we may not get to yours. I tried to pick a good smattering of questions that I thought would be good to a wider audience. Some of them are kind of funny. I thought it was really funny. I kind of left an open-ended question hey, if you guys want to ask us any questions about Brady while he's gone, go for it, shoot for the moon, which you guys delivered. I don't know. Some of them are a little too personal, so I don't know if I'll end up throwing those in. We might save some of them for when he's here, so he actually has a seat at the table. So
or should we answer them while he's not here and then let him answer later?
Man,
How should we go about that?
I don't know. Some of them are pretty funny. A couple of them I know for sure he wouldn't love because Brady's a pretty personal guy about certain parts of his life. I don't know. He would not be super jazzed about it, so we might wait for him till he comes back so he can defend himself. I guess before we get started in Q&A, I should hit promo code. So we
only have 2 on the podcast today, and I got the shitty arm.
Oh, do you want to change it out?
No, I'm good.
Well, you can change it out.
No, I'm good.
Are
I'll
you
deal
sure?
with it. Yeah, I just wanted to make note, Danielle, for the future.
For the future.
I'll deal with it.
Yeah, the swinging arm, huh? Promo code. So right now in the gear shop, we have a 2 times point sale going on. I don't even know if you call it a sale, but it's just a promo. So if you're a GOHUNT insider, any products that aren't currently, did you guys hear my voice crack right there? That was pretty good.
Puberty.
Yeah. Yeah. I will be 13 next year. So any gear in the shop that's not on sale, if you're an insider, you're going to get 2 times the points. So I think we've done a pretty decent job in the past, but basically just to explain it to anybody that might be a new listener, essentially a point is $1. So 1 point's $1. If you're GoHunt Insider, any purchase in the shop, any product is going to have a point total associated with that product. And essentially it's just dollars back that go into your account that you can use towards the purchase of any other gear that you want in the shop. We like to keep it straightforward, so it's $1.1. And right now, like I said, through February 1st, insiders are going to get double the points on any product that they purchase. So it's a pretty cool promo to buy gear and also put double the amount of money back in your account. Also, great time. And as we dive into these questions, a bunch of them are application research related into how to get tags, how to navigate the processes. We're kind of in the thick of it. We're approaching Wyoming app deadline for elk, which you and I we talked about pretty extensively yesterday.
Yes, we did.
We got to get our application in. We're going to be top of the pile, so it's whatever we want to draw.
Yeah, last app in, top of the pile. Guaranteed tags.
Guaranteed tags. But yeah, now's a great time to get an insider account. And if you use the promo code podcast, you're going to get 50 points, which is $50 back into the Go Hunt gear shop. And then shout out to Sig Optics. So Sig Optics, Troy Hellman, who's our dude over there, one of our dudes, him and Tony. He hit me up yesterday and he's like, hey, what kind of hats do you guys have in the gear shop for a pinhead? He's like, hopefully he doesn't mind me saying that, but he's like, my head's just too small for most of these caps. So we had a little exchange about trying to find him some Go Hunt hats.
What'd you put him in?
He likes dad hats. So I told him, maybe the, what is it? Not the Summit. It's not the Summit. I always get the Stratus hat.
Stratus. I always get the names.
I always call it the Summit, but it's the Stratus, which is kind of like a 5-panel runner style cap, vented sides. That's the one I'm a pinhead too.
My brother is as well.
Really?
Yeah. And complains all the time that he only has 2 hats from us that fit him.
Yeah. Yeah. I had the same discussion with Troy yesterday.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's funny. You get, when you start doing hats and like really nice hats that people want to wear, you just get constantly berated with, you make no hats for big heads. Yeah. And then you'll take 2 steps and say, you make no hats for small heads. Like, what are you talking about?
I know.
It's weird, man. People's heads are all over the place.
All different, huh?
Yeah.
I know. I always think about that. You got, I don't know how many billion people on the planet. And all different shape sizes, personalities.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Same species, but man, we couldn't be wildly different.
Are we? No.
Maybe. Maybe not. All right. So you ready for some questions? Dive into some questions.
Can't wait.
There's some good ones for you in here I'm interested in, like very Lorenzo specific.
Oh boy.
Which I think are good.
Let's see.
Okay. We'll dive into the first one. Would you rather hunt, draw tag every year, or close to it in a worse unit, or wait for a good hunt? What's your strategy in regards to those?
I mean, my immediate reaction is like, define a good hunt. You know what I mean? But we'll just go on the surface of what that question is. I'd rather draw a tag every year.
Why?
More hunting, more time in the field. Every unit is capable of producing an amazing hunt. Like I do really think that. The more I've hunted and the more I've hunted in different places, which is what I love doing more so than anything now. It's like these new adventures, new places, new units I've never been into. They're all capable of producing at some point. You know, just the year,
some extent.
The time. To some extent, yeah, correct.
Do you think it's species specific? Like, do you feel differently about that same question in regards to elk, in regards to antelope, in regards to mule deer?
I was an elk mindset. Okay. Yes, entirely yes. It's species specific. Deer, I'd rather wait.
Okay.
Antelope, I'd probably wait. Elk, I'd want to hunt them every year.
Yeah. And that's just kind of the nature of like where you're at, right?
Yeah, with each one of those
kind of
species.
Your values.
Yeah.
Your objectives.
I want to archery elk hunt every year. That's just something I can't do without. Not necessarily like the type of animal I'm chasing. I just want to know I'm in the elk woods in September with a bow.
Would you rather hunt an archery elk unit that like you're probably never going to see a 330 bull, or like maybe one exists, but it's pretty rare, or hunt a unit where there's a legitimate chance at a 350 bull? You can hunt the one every year. The other one, you have to wait 10 to 15 years.
I'd rather hunt the one every year.
Even though you might not have the potential for like a 350 bull.
Yeah. Look, I fully understand who I am saying this because I have killed big bulls. So that absolutely plays into this.
Yeah. You're going to come into it like with your own personal.
Yes. And I've killed big bulls, and it's awesome to do it. And it's extremely fun, and it does. Anybody who says it doesn't add to the hunt is lying. Like, it absolutely adds to the hunt when you kill something big. You're lying if you say otherwise.
Yeah,
and that's
I mean, most people are hoping.
Full stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you are lying if you say the other way. So, yes, I've killed big bulls, and it's awesome. But I love calling bulls in and just super rut fest type hunt, whether it's a 300 bull or a 330 bull. I feel the exact same now at this point in my life because I've killed big ones, and now I just want to make sure I'm in the woods every year calling in bulls like crazy. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I would say, man, it's species specific. I would say to me, so like antelope, I don't get too hung up on. I would rather hunt antelope every year than wait for. Like Wyoming, my strategy is to like draw pretty quick, right? I want to draw tags and go hunt antelope because I'm kind of like that. Probably the biggest antelope I've ever killed or in my basement right now, you know, and probably the chance to kill something bigger is probably pretty slim, I would say. And I just feel like the difference between, mid 70s buck and an 80-inch buck is like
kind of the same.
Yeah. Kind of the same for me. So are
we doing that Wyoming hunt this year?
Yeah.
By the way?
Yeah, we are. Yep.
What are the dates?
We can go early, like August.
Let's go.
Archery August.
Let's go.
Yeah,
August.
that's what I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how much we want to put out there, but
no, I just,
yeah,
just teasing that one up a little bit, but we got to do that one.
Yeah. I would rather hunt them more often because quality is just like less of a deal to me when it comes to antelope. Although I do love a big antelope if I can find one.
Well, why my answer was that is because the 10 to 15 year wait in antelope doesn't really exist. It's like a 4 to 5 year wait.
Yeah. Arizona could be like the extreme. You could wait your whole life and never
There's
draw.
definitely outliers on the bell curve, but when you're playing the antelope states, the right ones, every 4 years you're drawing like a really good antelope tag.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think in my home state of Utah, like would I wait to draw a unit, north of me? It's the best unit in the state, like the 9 mile area. I wouldn't wait.
I wouldn't wait on that.
I wouldn't wait. I would just assume burn my points and go hunt any, any old antelope unit that I could draw pretty quick. But mule deer, I kind of feel, man, I don't know. Mule deer is kind of in the mix. Like at this point, I think it's just the nature of where mule deer are across the West right now.
Yeah.
I don't get super excited about just going to hunt mule deer like any old buck, like I do any old elk.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel that same way.
Well, you don't have the interaction with them like you do elk.
Yeah.
It's like elk. The elk bar is lowered for me because of everything else you get in that hunt. Mule deer is just a kick in the dick.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sitting on a lot of mule deer points in some states, and I just haven't been motivated enough to like burn them and go do it. So for me, I guess for mule deer, generally I would rather wait. And then for elk, I'd rather hunt it every single year.
Me too.
Or as often as I possibly can. And then, I mean, within that, I like to play the game too. I like to apply for hunts that have better quality that I may not have a chance to really draw. Maybe terrible odds, just in the hopes that I do draw a great tag. But I do always want to have like that opportunity style tag every single year. Yeah. All right. Good one. Covered that one. This one will be pretty straightforward. This guy says, can an Arizona hunting license be used to apply for 2 consecutive years if timed right? So I think I said that on one of our little how-to videos that I did. So I thought I would answer this one real quick. So in essence, you buy an Arizona hunting license. It's a 365-day license. So if you were only applying for like one set of species, like elk and antelope, right? You could buy that hunting license on, the last day, in essence, of the application period. You could apply. And when that comes back around, you could apply again on that same license 2 consecutive years. But
correct.
What you wouldn't be able to do is you wouldn't be able to buy one license and apply for any and all species like bighorn sheep, deer, because they break up their application time frame. So those time frames are going to be later in the summer, like June, I believe, is somewhere in the deadline. So for me, if I'm going to buy the $160 non-resident hunting license to apply for elk and antelope, I might as well buy it annually and get to also apply for bighorn sheep and deer. So that's kind of how that works. If you're like really just a diehard elk guy and you only want to hunt elk in Arizona, go for it and, buy it accordingly and then try to do that consecutively 2 years of full license.
But if you draw, you got to buy for that year because it would run out by the time the hunt came.
Yep. Some states are weird. So like Utah, if you draw a tag, you only have to have a hunting license to apply. And then if you draw a tag, it doesn't have to be valid, your hunting license. Your permit now becomes your license in essence. So, every state does this so different.
It is weird.
Yeah, but be aware of that. Okay, this is a good one. This is an interesting one for you. I was curious. So this guy says, as a New Mexico resident, would you apply for second or first archery elk, and why?
That is a tough one.
So for people that are listening, you've typically got 2 seasons for archery elk in New Mexico. You've got an early season that runs from like the 1st through the 12th. And then you've got a second season, which is like the 12th through the 24th, I want to say, right? So you get a little bit longer hunt with the first hunt. Then you do the second, but your dates are obviously not as correlated with the rut. Yeah. So your harder your rut, like your best rut usually is going to be like the 12th through the 24th hunt. But that early hunt, you get a few extra days.
Yeah. If I was a resident and the unit that I wanted was right in my backyard, I might choose to do the first, because it would allow me to scout them through August. I'd be willing to bet, like I would make my bet that those bulls that I've scouted haven't truly moved yet. So they haven't like pulled off into true rut grounds or gone far away. Yep. And I feel like I would have a good chance at killing a bull that I've kind of had pinned down throughout the summer scouting. Whereas when you get into the 15th, like things are so shooken up by then, you can't really, I mean, what you found in August isn't going to really lead to anything.
You're chasing bugles for the most part. Yeah.
Getting lucky on which bugle comes into you and which ones you find. But if I lived right there, if I was a resident and I could scout all through the summer, I'd probably do the first.
What would you do as a non-resident?
The second.
Preferred.
I don't have that. That is what I do. I only apply for second archery. That's the only thing I apply for, because I have zero scouting. Like, and I know that I'm not driving that far. I'm not getting away from the family to go then do a 15-day hunt. Like, it's just not possible. So I want peak rut to just the chance to call in as many different bulls as possible.
Yeah. The odds are better of drawing first archery.
Yes, they are.
Because obviously you're not hunting the rut. Does that play any part into it, or you're still second archery only? Just for the aspect that you're chasing bugles for the most part?
Yeah. Like that's my main thing.
Man, yeah, I agree with you wholesomely. As a resident, I would probably do first season, because I can scout. And reality is, I think a lot of your biggest bulls get killed the first week. First week of the hunt.
I mean, think about our networks in New Mexico, like the residents we know, they're always sending us bulls from first season. Yeah. And it's like, that's different than what I've seen.
Yeah, because I think you can kind of pattern them, and it's not always the case that they're going to be there like that first week of September.
But they should be.
But they can be. Yeah. Yeah, and if you can get right on them early, and you can hunt them over water or migration, and a lot of times they're bachelored up still, so there's like easier to see. You can glass them up a little bit better. You're spot and stock hunting. A lot of big bulls get killed that first week of September.
And they still. What I like about that hunt too, it's like when my wife killed her big bull on September 2nd in Utah. They still sound off. Yeah. But they're a lot more nomadic, and they're not tied up in those giant, 30 to 50 plus cow herds. Yeah. So they sound off, and they're there, but then you can work them as an individual and not not a herd.
Do you think that's an advantage to maybe like killing a bigger bull because they aren't as rounded up?
Yes.
With cows?
Yes.
Yeah. It's the whole aspect of being a non-resident that's hard, right? Because you want to hear the bugles and have a chance to like bugle and chase elk and find elk. Whereas that first season, you may have a hard time finding them, but if you do, you might have a better chance to kill a bigger bull.
Absolutely. And if I had the time to put into scouting, that's what I would lean towards. Yeah. I'm still going to hear the bugles. I'm still going to call in bulls. But those big bulls that I have scouted out, I would have a better chance at.
I remember, so I drew a tag. It was a second season tag. It's been a bunch of years ago. And I want to say like the second or third day of that second season. So it would have been like the 13th, 14th, somewhere in that neighborhood. Like they were really getting after it, like rutting really hard. And I remember thinking, man, if I had been here a week ago, my odds would, looking forward, maybe my odds would be better drawing that early season. And maybe that last 3 or 4 days of that hunt, you might get into some pretty good rut, but you can't, I wouldn't say you can guarantee it like you could the second season. Yeah. I feel like second season, you can pretty well guarantee you're going to get into
at some point,
some rut.
Between 15th to 24th, you're going to get into something.
Yeah. And I've never had a bad rut hunt in New Mexico.
Me either.
It seems like they're always rolling.
Yeah.
That's a good one. This is a good one. This one's more close to home. Be interested to hear your take, having been a Nevada resident your whole life. So this person asks, do you see tag allocation in Nevada going up in 2025 based on how the winter has been so far?
No.
Do you see it going down?
Yeah.
And why?
It's been a rough winter.
Yeah. I looked at, so I pulled it up.
Not rough in a good way, by the way. It's been rough in a bad way. Yeah. We haven't had one rainstorm in Vegas this entire winter.
It's been really dry.
We had clouds on Mount Charleston for the first time, 2 days ago? Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, right? First time I've seen snow clouds on Mount Charleston.
Yeah.
It's basically February. Like, that's not good.
Yeah. I looked at the drought index map, and it's the whole southern half of the state is in like extreme drought.
Yeah.
Northern half is in drought.
Yeah.
None of it good. Like none of it on par with what a normal winter should look like.
And just the trend that we've already been on with tags, I don't see them going up.
Yeah. And I don't think Nevada's draw system or the way that they allocate tags, maybe that's not the right way to say it, but the kind of their objectives for their hunts has changed, right? Like they're not changing it to more of an opportunity style hunt. They still kind of have the same management to manage buck to doe ratios in like that higher range, maybe 30. So you're not going to see more permits because of an opportunity style change. Same with elk. They tend to manage it for a quality experience.
Yes.
We have a lot fewer elk in Nevada when we do in other states like Utah or
fewer
Colorado.
Everything.
Yeah, fewer everything. Yeah.
I don't see how they could go up. And Nevada still, which I appreciate, Nevada is still very focused on rebounding these populations. And they haven't seen it rebound yet. So I don't know why they would change the tag quotas.
And I would say they've been pretty consistent, right? You don't ever see massive changes one way or the other, really, unless usually if you do see changes, it's for the detriment. It's lower permit.
Correct.
I agree with you. I think you'll probably see about the same and maybe potentially even fewer.
I agree.
Which sucks.
Oh, it sucks.
Doesn't help my chances of drawing an elk tag.
I'm a resident with 12 deer points. Still can't draw. So look, I'm in it with everyone else.
You're waiting for the right year.
I mean, I will take a tag any year, but I just can't draw one.
You do a rain dance.
Yeah, need to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Top 3 states for a resident. If you like to hunt, if you love to hunt. So if you were looking to move, you were looking to relocate, rank them out. What 3 states?
Just purely for hunting.
Yep.
Not for family doesn't exist in this.
No, family doesn't exist.
Wyoming.
You got all the money in the world. You can go anywhere you want.
Wyoming, hands down, number 1. It's like not even a question. And then number 2 would be between Idaho and New Mexico or Montana, probably. Idaho or Montana, we'll call it. And then New Mexico.
New Mexico is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I think as I thought about this question, I agree with you. I would put Wyoming at the tip top just because you can buy a resident general season deer and elk tag every single year. And then your limited entry tags are random. No point system other than maybe, you get into like the once in a lifetime species like sheep or moose or whatever, or goat. But it's a random draw, and the draws are pretty good for those limited entry opportunities. And you can hunt wilderness. with no non-residents around. I would probably put the other 2 that kind of jumped to the top of my list would be Montana, because again, awesome general season opportunities, and then Idaho, also awesome general deer and elk, also random draw. So I think that one's interesting. New Mexico is interesting because it's interesting that you say New Mexico, because I think a lot of people probably wouldn't think about New Mexico. Yeah. But if you look at the odds, it's a random draw.
And it's 90-10 split.
And it's pretty good odds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get 86%, I guess. It's an 86% split for residents.
Or 86.
But you could also apply in the guided draw if you wanted to bump,
New Mexico for residents is an amazing state.
Yeah. I think it gets overlooked a lot just based on draw odds. Yeah. And you get 3 choices. You can kind of fine tune them. I know that every year when I write the app strategy for New Mexico, when I scroll down through and I look at the resident draw odds in New Mexico, I'm always like, shit.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, I would do Wyoming 1, Idaho 2, New Mexico 3. That's what I would do.
Yeah. I like that. Would you want to live in New Mexico?
That's why I said, do I have a family in this, or is this just purely hunting?
Are you moving to Albuquerque?
No.
Santa Fe?
No.
No.
I would move my family to Wyoming or Idaho.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Montana, maybe.
Idaho. Yeah, Montana, I would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. There's some pretty country. Any other states? I wouldn't say Utah. Really. I wouldn't say Arizona. Colorado, maybe. Colorado's kind of interesting. Still do the OTC archery stuff for elk.
Colorado's interesting. But it's just those higher end hunts you're still locked out of, even as a resident.
That's true. Until 2028.
Until the change.
We'll get into that.
Until the change.
Yeah. Well, whoever that is, I hope you have a good move to Wyoming.
That's like number one is a clear number one, by the way. Like that is
for sure.
Clear number one would be Wyoming.
Yeah, I agree. If you guys could only hunt one animal, one weapon in one state, what would it be?
One, and one?
One animal, one state, one weapon.
I mean, it's obviously elk with a bow.
Pick the state and the unit.
State and unit?
Sure, why not? If you want to.
I mean, and unit, it would be it'd be Wyoming with a bow and 107, 108? What's the
for elk?
Yeah. What's the I can't remember the name.
Like 54 is always kind of up there at the top. Or if you like those units down in the south that are kind of like that desert country. Oh, you're talking 101 for deer?
No. I'm talking elk.
100, 124. Those are both pretty up there.
It might be either one of those.
31, 32. Those are pretty popular.
I'd have to look at a map right now
to
see.
Yeah. There's a bunch of units, 61, 62, 63, 64.
Yeah,
those are all
you're
trophy.
Familiar with the
but Wyoming elk
units.
with a bow.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Not Utah or Arizona or Nevada?
Do I get a tag every single year?
Yeah, you get to pick it. It's your dream hunt.
And I get it every single year?
We'll just say one time. Next year, we'll say 2025, you get to pick the season, the weapon, the state, the unit, the species.
Huh. If I get to like hand pick, that's different. That's definitely different. It might be Nevada.
Elk still?
Yeah, 111.
Yeah.
But Nevada doesn't have a pure rut date archery hunt. That's the only issue.
It's a little early.
Yeah, it shuts off a little early.
That's true.
That would be my one like hang up with choosing Nevada for that. Where Utah, I'd do Penguich.
Mm-hmm. It'd be a good one.
I'd probably do the Penguich. If I could just hand pick that, that's
Penguich
probably
archery elk.
Because I can scout it too. It's only 4 hours away.
Mm-hmm. Man, yeah, I would say this gets into like a whole other realm because like if you pick like one species that you could never like really get a hunt, I would say maybe archery bison on the Henrys would be fun. Like if I could just hand pick that one next year, that would be like, because I always wanted to hunt bison and I want to hunt them like free range, getting after it with a bow would be awesome.
That would be cool.
But yeah,
but reread the question. Isn't it one for the rest of your life?
Nope. It just says if you guys could only hunt one animal, one weapon in one state, what would it be?
Oh, I thought it was like for the rest of your life thing. I mean, if I could hand pick, I mean, she had a Rocky tag with a bow in Colorado.
Yeah.
Or Rocky tag with a bow in
New Mexico.
New Mexico
would be pretty great.
That would be pretty great.
Yeah, that one climbs to the top of the list. Or Big Desert maybe in Arizona would be kind of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely with a bow. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the only thing I can like truly decide right now in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd have to be a Rocky. I mean, that's the hardest tag to get.
Sure. Yeah, and that's where your head goes, right? Is like, what is the tag that I'll never actually have?
Yeah,
probably
a Rocky tag.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been bitten by the sheep bug really. I mean, I love aoudad hunting. Those are. But
you're telling me you're not going to hand pick a sheep tag if you could just pick one off the top of the pile?
I would probably pick bison, I think, over sheep. Yeah, I think I would. I don't know. For me, it's like this icon, the West, big, shaggy, cool, gigantic Euro mount with a big bison rug. I think would be sick.
And the tails are so cool.
Yeah.
You go rug or ankle length bison coat.
That would be sweet.
Maybe the coat.
I mean, shit, it's going to weigh like 35 pounds.
And I would wear it one time to the Western Hunt Expo every year.
Oh, yeah. You can't really wear it anywhere.
I would walk around in my bison coat.
And you'd
fit right in with a shed antler over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would probably be that for me. Like one species, like, I don't know, I love elk hunting, so it might be like an Arizona rut hunt in unit 23 or something.
I took it as for the rest of your life. And that's if I could only have to pick one, that's one I know I would never get sick of. Sure. So it'd be archery elk.
Yeah, I agree.
And penguich are you kidding me? Every single year?
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope. Can you guys do an article or talk about on the podcast how an insider can find cow elk hunting opportunities using the platform?
Yeah. Don't we?
Yeah.
We've already done that. Or I don't know if we have an article just purely on that. I know it's in some articles.
We probably do. I can't say off the top of my head assuredly that we do have one, but we probably have done a cow elk or an antlerless species.
That's a good reminder that we should do that.
Just to refresh it.
We should do like a full antlerless opportunity.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, we cover draw odds for any and every species, including antlerless species. So cow elk. So all you would do is you could either jump on, which what I typically do is I'll jump on. Camo's trying to dig his way out of his pen.
Hey, quit it.
I'll jump on draw odds, so the standalone draw odds page in your insider account, and then if you click the state and then that you're interested in, and you scroll down through the species list, I think a lot of people just stop at the first 5 or whatever there might be. If you scroll down all the way through, you'll start to see like all the antlerless species, including like cow elk or doe mule deer or doe antelope. So you would just click on cow elk, and that's going to pull up the draw odds for every cow elk hunt in that state, and you can start to explore those. You could also go through filtering, same thing. You can filter by species, so cow elk, and you can start to explore the hunts that are available in that state for cow elk specifically, and that's how you would get familiar with it. Some states, it's like a lot more widely available. Like if you look at Wyoming, they've got reduced price cow elk tags, which would be like your type 6, your type 7s. That's like an entirely different draw from the main draw. It's not allocated on a point system. It won't use your points if you draw those. And a bunch of those type 6 and 7 permits are really good odds. A lot of them are 100%. So I would say, jump in, look at Wyoming. First and foremost, I would also explore Colorado because they've got a ton of elk, obviously. But you can draw those tags too.
Yeah, Colorado's a good one.
Yep. But
that's a good. We should do one that's reminder. More front facing, like just straight up cow elk.
Yep. I guess take home message would be is absolutely you can find it in your insider account, and you can explore it either from a draw odds perspective in the standalone draw odds, or you can use the filtering option and start to find those. And the filtering options will also give you like harvest percentages and all that stuff. So you ever been on a cow elk hunt?
I've been with somebody. I've never done one myself. You never shot a cow elk? No. They're
kind of fun.
It would be. I mean, it would be fun.
They're kind of a riot, actually, because any elk will do for the most part. You know? I went on a holy tear there in Utah for a while, and we had
tipping them over.
I don't know how many I killed in how many years. It was like, I don't know, 8-9 years in a row. There was like one unit that nobody wanted to hunt because it was mostly roadless. Yeah, and you could draw it pretty well guaranteed. And there were, I don't know, 2 or 3 different seasons, and some of them even went into January, like late. I remember one time I offloaded my 4-wheeler to go. It was January tag, and it was like -18. Oh. And I could draw that every single year. And I went up and shot this cow and hauled her out. Snowshoes.
Yeah, see, that's why it's a guaranteed draw.
Hauled her out in snowshoes. Yeah, on the way back. But it's fun, man. A lot of good, like,
it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, fun memories.
Yeah.
And my kids have shot cow elk. I think it's a great hunt to get your kids in on. I'm trying to draw a cow tag for my youngest kid this year.
Yeah, that is good for youth. Yeah, sure.
He's like, oh, I just want to kill a bull elk. And I'm like, well, yeah, shit, everyone does. But you're 12, so let's
let's focus on cows.
Rein it in a little bit here. Okay, this question's specific to you. It says, Lorenzo said he was going into this year, so I assume this last hunting season, lighter weight, less bulky.
Yep.
Did you do that? And how did you feel? Did you feel it was beneficial?
So, yeah, I did do that, but I might have. So the season before I was like 240, 245, lifting like crazy, all kinds of stuff. This last season, I focused on cardio a lot more, all that stuff. I went into the season at like 215, 216. So a lot lighter.
30 pounds lighter?
I think it was too much though. I think there was a benefit obviously to it, but I definitely did not feel as like diesel engine type where I could just go forever.
Really?
Like, yeah. I felt the weight of the pack a little bit more, felt the weight of the pack out a little bit more. I think there's a happy medium.
Yeah.
For me. Like, I think I went way too far the other way.
Too light.
Yeah.
So you wanted to feel stronger?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely not near as strong as I was 2 seasons ago. Like, not even close.
What do you, man, this is like a question that like comes up every single year. Like, where do you put your priority? Like, do you put it in strength? Do you put it in cardio? Do you legs and lungs versus the ability to like handle a lot of weight?
Yeah. So I would imagine what he's talking about is the 2 years I did like 90% strength training season before. And then this last season I did like 90% cardio training. I completely flipped the two. Yes. Completely flipped the two. And I think there's a happy medium, which is what I'm doing right now, which is 3 days equally cardio and strength training.
You just get 50-50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like 228 right now.
Okay.
So I'm like, I am right in the middle. I didn't do that on purpose. It's just kind of like where I'm sitting at the moment.
What do you want to go into hunting season at?
I haven't quite. Usually I kind of build that out in my head come like May, June, you know?
Yep.
But yeah, like where I'm at right now, I feel pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I think I went too far the other way.
Yeah. You just felt like it negatively impacted like.
Yeah. Well, I got all you guys talking about running and VO2 maxes.
Yeah,
and
you did your first 10K.
Like, you know what? I should focus on that a little bit more. Like I've been just doing so much strength training.
Yeah.
And then I went too far the other way.
I only run and do rucking, so I kind of go the legs and lungs. But inevitably, every single year when I have a pack out, it sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm at the point where I don't know. I've been this way my whole life. I'm just like, well, I know I'm going to have like 2 or 3 days where it's really going to suck.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at some point, like my knees and my back are going to be like, hey, dumbass.
Yeah. I do a lot of back, like full posterior chain. Okay. That's what I definitely.
So that's the next question. We'll dive into it. It just said, Lorenzo, workout routine, ? So give it to us.
So Monday is chest and shoulders. Okay. Tuesday's cardio. Wednesday's full posterior chain. So I do all back, all down the legs. I've always found it really difficult to isolate back and legs because you have legs somewhere involved in the back workout you're doing. So it is a bigger, longer day. It's about an hour and a half on Wednesdays to do back and legs, full posterior chain. Thursday's cardio. Friday's chest and shoulders. Saturday's a mix of the two, like equally.
How many days a week is that?
6 days a week.
You do 6 days a week? Yeah. Then you take 1 day off?
And I take Sundays off. But I'll do like active recovery on Sunday. So I'll do a lot of like plyometric stuff, but not the insane plyometric stuff. I do a lot of like body weight stuff, a lot of
So what did you say?
Not straight stretching, but like, what's that? What would you call that?
Yoga, hot yoga?
Like active stretching. No,
like mobility
not.
type.
Yeah, like active. Yeah. I do like active stretching.
Gotcha.
So like walking stretch lunges, not like walking lunges, but I'll make sure I stretch forward and back before I go on to the next one. And only body weight.
So Mondays you said are what? What do you do?
Chest and shoulders.
Okay, so what do you do as far as reps? Like how do you approach reps? How do you approach reps and weight? Like how much weight?
That is a good question. So 2 seasons ago, when I was all strength training, focused on strength, and I was like 245, I would do 5x5 pyramid lifts. Okay. On all like my strength days. So all my big lift days, I would do either a 5x5 or some days I'd even do like a 5x3, and I would see how heavy I could go. This last year, I cut everything off at body weight. Okay. So the all last season, I never went over 225 just because I don't want to dick with 218. It's weird. So I would just say, okay, it's 225. I've stuck with that through this year.
Okay.
Through this off season so far. Granted, it's only January and things could change, but like I really like staying at 225 and just doing it for max reps. So like my Monday, I always do one foundational lift on a strength day. So like chest and shoulders is bench press, flat bench press.
Yep.
So I'll do 225, 3 sets till failure.
Okay.
And take my total and see, like that's what I try to beat week over week is
three sets till failure.
Total failure.
Okay.
And I take 3-minute rest in between,
okay,
which is a long rest for that foundational lift. And then after that, I'll do a bunch of superset type stuff between, cable flies and lateral raises. And then the next thing, military press and push-ups. And
gotcha.
like I'll do a lot of that stuff with no rest.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday, I'll do, I used to do back squats, but I don't want to, I'm getting away from that because I don't like the weight of the bar on your spine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's, for what I'm trying to do, it's kind of detrimental. So I've moved that to like, goblet squats, front squats, like just in a lot of different forms, just getting the weight off my spine.
Mm-hmm.
And then on
kind of the same approach then, like 3 sets till failure type deal.
Yes. And at 225.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. And then deadlift. I'll switch every other Wednesday. I'll switch from like some type of squat to a deadlift.
Okay.
So today was squat. So
gotcha.
Next Wednesday will be deadlift. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't go over 225.
What's your take on like a lot of reps but lighter weight?
They both serve an amazing purpose.
How would it shape you differently? Would it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So super heavy weight, low reps is you're trying to get into your central nervous system, trying to like freak your body out.
Mm-hmm. I'm freaked out just hearing it.
Fight or flight mode, like
yeah, flight.
Where
definitely.
You're scared of getting under the bar.
Yeah.
Where you're like, holy shit, how am I even going to be able to lift this for 1, let alone 3 to 5?
Right.
And you're trying to get in that central nervous. You're trying to break that down. Where on a lightweight high rep, you don't get that. But you get like an insane burn of the muscle where your muscle is learning how to essentially go into overdrive, like still function while it's under a lot of tension.
Does one build more like longevity, like
lighter weight build is more longevity for sure.
Right.
The heavyweight's the one that's really hard on your joints and tendons and
can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you like that because you want to be strong, I assume, to like move in the woods, be able to pack a lot of weight.
My body type, I feel best when I'm strong.
Gotcha.
Like when I feel.
That's probably a good point because I'm sure
strong.
Everybody's a little bit different.
Everyone's different.
Yeah.
I feel the best when I feel strong.
Gotcha.
If I don't feel strong, like my legs didn't feel that strong this year as opposed to the year before.
Right.
So I'll probably will switch into more of like a 5x10 maybe this year instead of, right now I'm doing sets of 50 at 225.
You're at opposite ends of the spectrum. Now you're finding a little more moderation.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's what I like to do to notice like an immediate change. It's like, okay, let's go the exact opposite of what I've been doing and see what happens.
Right.
Like literally the exact opposite.
To explore it.
Yeah. So now I'm kind of like right in the middle of the two.
Gotcha. This question's kind of along these same lines. It said, who would win in a pack out contest between Brady, Lorenzo, and Trell? Who could pack the most weight the quickest? Ooh. I would say it's not me. I'll take myself out of that one. I'm gonna.
I don't know. You've been doing it so much.
I'll get it out, but it might take me a minute. And I'll suffer it out. So I would say I'll probably remove me to the bottom of the list.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can go.
I can go. I'm not going to go super fast.
I mean, I could have more weight on my back
than Brady.
For sure. You
or me.
Like, and I'm not saying that egotistically. It's just look at my build as opposed to you two.
Big facts.
Yeah, I mean that's for sure.
Yeah.
If there's deadfall, probably Brady because his legs are so long. He doesn't have to fight it like me.
That's right. He can just step over it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'll bet Brady can pack some weight.
I bet Brady.
I bet he can too. I bet
you could too. So fast too.
I know Brady is really fast when he hikes. Just normally.
Yeah.
And he's got pretty good cardio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one, like, I've never thought about it, but Omar, because I've hunted with him the last 2 years in 2 big major pack outs. And what he told me is I move the same speed with a pack out and with no weight. I'm like, oh shit, I never noticed that.
I bet I'm pretty close to the same.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably take a few more breaks going, uphill with a really heavy pack, but I would bet for the most part it's pretty much the same.
He's like, you were the same speed the entire time.
Yeah. I've noticed the older I've gotten, like the slower I go, it feels like. I noticed like at times my camera guy last year, he would be like not out of breath and he'd be like right on my heels all the time, And I think at one point he must have asked me or something like, is this kind of the normal speed that you work through the elk woods? And I was like, got in my head about it. I'm like, what are you saying?
Yeah. What the fuck you saying?
What are you saying? I probably made up some bullshit excuse like, hey man, I'm just like being super stealthy. This is how I do it.
Man, I'm just being more deliberate.
I'm listening,
movements.
Man. Shut up. But yeah, I think I just kind of navigate a little bit slower for some reason, which is I'm okay with that.
I navigate in one speed, which is probably not a good thing. I probably should slow down. Because that, like what Omar told me, I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing. We should have worked the elk a little slower then. Like if you're telling me I did the pack out the same speed we went after that bull, like I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation, right?
Yeah,
you move situationally, and sometimes it's go slow, and sometimes it's hurry up and get on your bike and move, cut country. But that was good. That was interesting.
Probably Brady, just because he's already so fast.
Yeah,
in his legs.
He is damn tall.
But I would say like if we got to 200 plus pounds, I would probably win. Yeah, just because that.
For sure.
So favorable to my build as opposed to his.
I'm not starting if I've got 200 pounds on my back. 100, I'm probably out at that point. I'm like, how can we cut this thing down? I'll just make more trips. This one says, Brady lost his steps shooting wise now that his wind gauge, aka his hair, is gone. That was
I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, I think he has too.
He's better at shooting a bow though.
Yeah, he's getting better. He's been shooting a little bit more.
So maybe it's going that way.
Yeah, he's growing it back. He'll have it back by hunting season for sure.
Do you believe his excuse?
Yeah, but no, I don't.
I don't believe it either.
Why do you think he cut his hair?
Exactly. I don't believe that it was an accident by the.
No, I don't either. Nobody goes in. Yeah.
Quick Clips or wherever he goes.
You don't go into
Great Clips or something.
Great Clips.
Great Clips. Yeah. That's where he went.
You don't go into Great Clips and say cut like a half inch and walk out with 8 cut off the back.
I agree. I don't believe that. I think he deliberately went in there and said, "Hey."
I do too. I think baby girl said, "Hey,
somebody wants to see me with shorter hair." And he's,
wants me cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Shit, how do I make this sound cool?"
Exactly.
That's what I think too.
I completely agree.
But I would bet he has it back, and I don't know if he uses it for a wind gauge or not. I would say not, because every time I've ever been with him, he's always whipping out his little Kestrel.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. One thing about Brady, I'll give him credit. Like when he gets set up for a shot, like all T's are crossed and I's are dotted. Like
there's nothing to chance.
Yeah, like he's taking his time getting in the gun. He's getting completely set up, totally on balance, everything leveled out, super sturdy. He knows the wind, the yardage, MOA, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
as opposed to you and I shooting from the hip. Shit, he's right there. Go.
Oh yeah, I'm like, give me the gun. I'm gonna put one down range.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's very calculated in a shot. Okay. You have 1 weekend to scout, mid-November for a deer hunt. Okay. The deer hunt's in mid-November. You have 1 weekend to scout. When you going and why?
Say that again.
Okay. 1 weekend to scout for a mid-November deer hunt. When are you going?
1 weekend to scout
for a mid-November deer hunt. When are you going and why?
It's a tough one because how far away am I going? Like how, you know what I mean? How logistically, how big of a deal is it to go scout? There's part of me that says early, like quite a bit early, and just look for does.
Yeah. And then get to know like the lay of the land.
Get to know the lay of the land.
Trails and
look where all the doe, where's the nursery at, where the does and the fawns. Because that's where the bucks are going to end up pulling into. The does and fawns aren't going to be leaving too far. Or like a week before.
Yeah.
I'm either going early for that and just lay the land, driving roads, like get a really good feel on it. If it's if there's access issues, I guess that's what would make my decision is if there's access issues and parts of the mountain that I'm not sure about how to get into and all that, I would go early and figure all that out and look for does and fawns. And I wouldn't even really care what I was seeing for bucks. Obviously I would want to see some, but
if you go early, you're basically scouting roads and trails, access, and you're scouting habitat types, right? So you might be looking for like that transition or that sage aspen interface.
Yeah.
Maybe like where's the mahogany, where's the cover, like that kind of thing. So like if you go early, you're probably more scouting habitat than you are the actual animal itself.
Yeah. And looking for like where some deer already are.
Right.
Because they're pulling into that.
Yeah. That's a tough one. Like I would say like mid-November, it's just such a free for all typically for muleys. I mean, they're covering country and looking for does, and you might see a buck in one canyon. You might never see him again.
I've killed one collared buck in my life out of Colorado.
Okay.
And it was the CWP actually gave me the data after I turned it in. And, whenever you do that, I didn't know how all that process worked, but like you literally, they not investigate, but they kind of like look through, make sure everything's good. And then they'll turn the data over to you, or at least Colorado will, because they did it for me. But that buck, so I killed that buck just, I guess it would be just northeast of Kremling, like just northeast of Kremling, out in a sage bowl. And when I got that collared data back, he summered on the top of Granby of Winter Park, the ski mountain. Yep. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking.
So think about that.
Yeah.
Like he crossed all of Granby stuff, like all that grand stuff, then hot sulfur, then I don't even know what that next area is called, out by the reservoir, and then came across the highway.
So he was nowhere even in the neighborhood.
Nowhere.
From probably September to November.
Yeah. So I killed that buck in 2016, and ever since I got that data, I'm like, oh, this is why it's just free for all.
Right.
Anytime you're doing a rut hunt, like total free for all.
Yeah. Yeah. They're moving a ton in November. I kind of like the idea of like scouting the weekend before, or whatever, as many days as you can, like before your hunt actually opens. But with the asterisks that if you see a buck during that time frame, it's not like that buck is just going to be there come opening day. Like there's a decent likelihood that unless he's like really locked down on a hot doe, he may just check some does and move on. So I would say in that instance, you're probably really just scouting for does. Yeah. Like if you go that week before or a few days before your hunt starts, like I'd really be just looking for does.
Yeah. Where are the does?
Where are the does at? And I would be checking. I would obviously go back and check to where if I'd seen a buck, I'd go back and check to see maybe he's still hanging around. Maybe there's a hot doe. But I would really want to cover ground and look for does and throughout that mid-November hunt. And I'm not like, I'm probably passing on bad advice because I'm a shitty deer hunter with a rifle, but I've got my ass handed to me when I've gone to Colorado, late season. But
another good example, it is elk. So I get that it's a different species. Sorry if this is adding to the confusion, but Porter's hunt is also a really good example because he scouted his ass off on that elk tag in Nevada. He had all through August, all through September, and one weekend in October.
And it was a late hunt, right?
And he wasn't hunting until mid-November.
Yep.
And the amount of bulls that he had in, library, whatever you want to call it, like his photo library, tons and tons of bulls. I mean, more bulls than you really could keep track of. When we were there in November, we did not see one bull that he had on camera.
Yeah.
That's just how it shakes up between the two times of year, like pre, post rut or rut.
Yep.
It's a free for all.
Yeah. Maybe the best advice is just go when you can, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're losing. Here's the thing is like, if you go early, great. You're learning, right? Like you're hitting roads, trails, you're learning habitat, you're finding glass and points, walk up and explore them. If you can't go early and you can only go, late, maybe a few days before your hunt, go do it. Just kind of keep the different objectives in mind. So look for does. You're just basically scouting two different things, different times of year.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is an interesting question for you. I went through and picked questions. I was like, I want to know what Lorenzo thinks about this.
Great.
This guy says, can you guys discuss some pros and cons of the Trump admin on wildlife and hunting? And what's your thoughts related to that?
pros and cons.
Did you listen to the inauguration speech?
Ish.
I went back and listened to it. I didn't get to listen to it live because I was working, but I listened to it the night of.
Yeah.
Like there were some things that he said in there that I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about, like you said, drill, baby, drill.
Yeah.
Which I get. There's the whole, I mean, you know, the reliance on foreign resources I totally get it. I understand it. I love cheap gas. You know, I like the opportunities it provides me. And I think the opportunity to have those kinds of prices and kind of bring things down, really, we're probably going to have to look internally at the resources we have.
Yeah.
But also what that might mean may not mean the best things always for wildlife. It might be, you know, we might break up some habitats. We might have some exploration that may not be the best. So I'm a little bit torn in regards to that.
Yeah.
But do you have thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely do. Look, first and foremost, I try to keep things in perspective as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And of course, wildlife and hunting is what I selfishly value more mm-hmm. than anything on planet Earth. But when you look at it from the big picture and as a whole, that is a very selfish standpoint. And there's obviously much bigger issues, much bigger things that go on that, you know, everything is somehow tied to each other. And mm-hmm. it's just the way it works. So there's always give and take. And like the drill baby drill thing, it does pain me for the thought of like, okay, what's that going to do to wildlife and landscapes? Mm-hmm. But also it's like, okay, the number one cost of everyone's personal expenses are food and travel and gas, right? Like that's mm-hmm. the number one in every household.
Housing, fuel, and food.
Housing, fuel, and food. Mm-hmm. So how do you lower the cost of food? When you lower the cost of fuel, nothing gets into the grocery store without some form of transportation from fuel. Yep. So you lower fuel costs, you lower all that stuff. So like that's the give and take I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. I would say the one like big con that I have that I am concerned about and hope that, you know, he does seem to have an open ear and, you know, Trump Jr. is a big hunter and all this mm-hmm. stuff, but the public land sell off, the sale of public land, which is out of Utah trail,
which we killed it. The Supreme Court said, no, we won't hear it.
But Utah's been trying for a long time.
And they'll keep trying. And you have more, I mean, the previous versions of the same type of, you know, rhetoric, I'll call it rhetoric, but previous versions of it, it was kind of only Utah, but now we've got other states that are kind of chiming in saying, hey, we want to get in on that.
Yeah. And what it comes down to is as a hunter, like now this is me selfishly mm-hmm. speaking as a hunter, the federal land management is piss poor. Like there is a reason why animals are found more on private than they are on public. And the animals that we used to see on public aren't there anymore. It's because they're not managing the grounds to the best of their ability, right? Could the states manage it better? I think yes, but it's not that simple. Mm-hmm. If the states take this all as private, or if they take it all to mm-hmm. state ownership and they make it all state land, there's no shooting, no hunting, no fishing, no nothing.
Could be. Man, it gets...
But if you look at the state lands right now, that is the rules.
Sure.
That is the rules of the state land right now.
Sure.
So what would make it any different is if they took all of the federal BLM and all this stuff, if they took that to statehood.
Yeah. I kind of look at federal ownership of almost as like the lesser of two evils in some extent. Because I don't know that it is managed maybe in the way that I would like it to be.
It's piss poor management.
I had this discussion with a guy I've known for a while. He slid into my DMs and we exchanged a bunch of messages back and forth. And he kind of said, you know, maybe look at this from a different perspective. Look at it from the state's perspective. And he kind of took it from the stance of like, you know, there's a lot of these small communities in various states that like their livelihood is, you know, agriculture, it's oil, gas, you know, mining. It's where a lot of those jobs are supported. And he was like, maybe look at it from that perspective and what that could mean if the state owned it, right? Yeah. Like we can support some of these smaller communities and those jobs are retained. And like, I get that. And I told him, I'm like wholeheartedly, like, I'm kind of looking at this as like, my value is, you know, kind of hunting and fishing, right? Public access, you know, the ability to provide habitat and then for the public to access it and, you know, multi-use. So I get it's hard to have like a solution that hits everything. I thought it was really, I don't know, I'm getting off topic, but like not totally off topic, but I thought it was really interesting. So I listened to the State of the State address by Governor Cox from Utah. And the first two things that he mentioned were housing. So we need to find more housing for more people. Mm-hmm. And we need to find more resources. We need more oil, gas, mining, and exploration. And I was like, that's pretty telling, right?
Yes.
Like, you go after a bunch of federal land to make it state, and then your State of the State address, you're like, these are the two issues that are the top of the heap.
Yes.
So it's like, I mean, to me, it seems a 1-to-1, right? Like, we're going to go after federal land. We're going to make it state land. We need that to increase exploration resources, and we need more housing for more people. Which I get. I understand. It's not like an easy issue, but again, I think federal management, it's the lesser of two evils, in my opinion.
It does seem the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, and
Randy Newberg is incredibly well-rounded in this, and I wish I could speak as eloquently as he does on this entire topic. But I mean, when it boils down, I think your definition of the lesser of two evils, that does seem to be true. Because if it goes to statehood, it gets really... Yeah,
we're gonna drill on it. We're gonna sell it.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's what we're going to do because we need
state
more
land. There are there is requirements in the state land that it has to be revenue producing.
Yeah. Utah has to manage. Yeah, I mean, according to their state law
statutes for revenue producing, and I think that's pretty much every state, as far as I understand it from Randy. I could be wrong on that, but
my biggest issue with the whole Utah thing is like when I looked into it, like I didn't really see a plan.
No.
So. They have this, a new administration, kind of a new public land agency where they would manage it. But to me, it was like there was nothing like concrete. There was no promises given. Yeah. Like it was just like kind of loose.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't feel real comfortable. I feel not great about it, about state ownership.
I highly encourage anybody who is like questioning, wondering what's going on to listen to Randy on everything he says about this because he talks to it in such detail. But it is.
And do you think the Trump administration is more like, hey, let's let the state have some of this?
Yeah, for whatever, something that's always been really interesting to me about politics is like if the blue no matter who and red till you're dead, like the two sides of it, where for whatever reason it's like, okay, red it's only this path, blue it's only this path, right? It's like this weird thing. And for whatever reason, like the Republicans right now seem to be really hot and heavy on this state land thing.
State ownership
of
state
the land.
Management.
And I don't agree. I don't know. It's the lesser of two evils to have. From what I do, my passion in life, it's literally my entire life.
Well, it was,
because of public land.
The question was wildlife and hunting. So I guess we could take it from that approach. I do think so. The Trump administration, I think
they'll be good for wildlife. If you take this land thing out of it, sure. I do think they're going to be good for wildlife.
Generally, I would say he's kind of approached issues that I feel like have been kind of in the last, decade. We've kind of looked at things and said, there's just nothing to be done. Like it just is the way that it is. And there's a lot of issues regarding wildlife and management that I think kind of fall in that category. And as I was thinking about it, so things like the delistings of grizzly bears.
Yeah.
We've kind of just accepted like, oh, there's nothing that can be done about it. And we try to get them delisted. It goes through the process. And then we find a judge and the judge says, no, we need these habitats to connect before we feel comfy about it. And we're not going to delist them. I do think that he is a lot more apt to say that's bullshit. Like they are recovered. We've hit goals. We've hit all the objectives.
This is where my confidence of his management comes in.
One of a pro. I do think he seems to be more engaged in being able to address that type of issue. Yeah. We had Jenny and Joel on. We talked about wild horses and burros.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah. If there's ever anybody who's willing to take on the wild horse and burros, it's him.
Yeah. Yeah. I think some of these things that are like more, I hate to say it, but it feels to me like common sense type. I think he's a lot more apt to be a listening ear and to take some action on it.
Yeah.
So in that regard, like I'm hopeful. And
me too.
Yeah. And those are kind of some of the big corner cross thing. That's another one I just think is asinine that, I think There's some issues that are in regard to hunting and wildlife. I think he's a lot more apt to tackle and take it head on and say, this doesn't make sense. Let's deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, rather than getting wrapped up in red tape and just saying, oh, there's nothing to be done. Can't do anything about it. Oh, well.
Yeah. I agree.
So, I would say I'm optimistic.
I would say
generally,
to boil it all down, I would say the pros are the actual species management. I think that's all a pro. Like dealing with horses, I think his administration is one that will probably take that on, even though the amount of backlash, like that's obviously seemed to never phase him. The grizzly bear, same thing.
Yeah.
Wolves, same thing. All that stuff.
Doesn't seem to be real impacted by a loud voice in a room.
Not at all. So I would say that's the pro. I would say the con is land, land side.
Potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah.
I know Porter's excited. He's got his gold shoes on.
Yeah, his gold shoes on the other day. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is an interesting one. So it says, from a non-resident perspective, will you and Lorenzo be using your points in Colorado before the draw changes in 2028?
Yes. Full stop.
You will be.
Yes.
Is there any part of you that's like, hey, I'm going to keep my points?
Actually, let me caveat that. Species specific. Yes.
Okay.
Elk, no. Like, because now I actually have a chance at.
Okay. And you can hunt somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. So like if I can't have, Colorado seems to be a state that has like really, like genuinely low, middle, like high, middle, and extra high tiers. Like the units really do kind of break down in that. Wouldn't you agree? Like as far as their elk hunts go?
Sure.
Like there really
there's a ton
these
of
steps in Colorado where you can really step up to the next thing.
There's like 5 or 6 hunts or units that can provide a really quality big bull type of experience. There's a few that are like decent, kind of mid tier, and there's a pile that are like low tier opportunity style hunts.
Yeah. So because now I have a chance of like that high middle and high, I will only burn my points on like a high middle type hunt for elk.
Yeah, and you can hunt other places for elk. I should say that. Yeah, along the way, and you've got a bunch of points.
Yes, and so that's my elk. But deer, yes, absolutely.
You'll burn them.
Yes.
Yeah,
because I'm at a point where I'm at a place where I have the points to actually draw the tag I want. So I have to make sure I do that before it changes.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I'm really on the fence. Like, God, I say like a lot. You'd think I was
not as much as Omar, but
does he say it all?
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Danielle's laughing. You've noticed that too.
I was gonna say you'd think I was a 19-year-old girl the way I say the likes.
I just repeat myself a bunch.
I do that too. I don't know. I don't know what I'll do exactly. There's part of me that wants to play the game and give it like 2 years into that new draw system. So like 2030 and see what it looks like just to see.
That's what I'm doing with elk.
Yeah. See what the fallout looks like just to see what might be available. There's also part of me that knows. And here's the thing is like, I don't have a pile of points. Like I burn my elk points. So I'm not sitting on a pile. I've not got a ton of deer points. So to me, it's not like I'm sitting on a bunch of points that are going to be worth less once that draw changes, because they're going to take more permits from that non-resident pool. There's just going to be less permits available for preference point holders. So I'm not sitting on a bunch. So I'm not really out a whole lot, but I mean, that's kind of the cons, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you, what would you do in my situation then?
You got a bunch of elk points? It depends on how many you had.
I have a bunch of all points.
Man, and it gets so personal, right? Because like, what are your objectives? Like, what do you want? What is the thing that you want?
So the deer hunt I've always wanted. I'm guaranteed the tag right now.
Okay, I would burn that. That's for sure. Because
so before 2028, I am burning those points because I'm guaranteed the tag. I was since last year.
Yep. Because your points are going to be worth less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But elk, I've got 14 for elk.
You're kind of in no man's land.
Correct.
Yeah. So for you, I think you're spot on. I think for a guy that's kind of in no man's land with elk, I would probably wait and play the game and apply for the best of the best and hope you hit a random tag.
Yeah.
If you're on the cusp, and you're like, I would be happy with a hunt and my points are going to be worth less, then go ahead and burn them. Yeah. That'd be my advice. kind of evaluate your objectives for it and see. Yeah. I think the take home message here that everybody, my opinion, should know is that whatever points you're packing, they're going to be worth less come 2028.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be fewer permits available to preference point holders. So if you're not okay with that, burn them and start over.
Yeah. And the deer tag I want, I have it. So that's why I'm doing that.
Yeah. Here's a fun one. This one says, give the Go Hunt crew Madden ratings for hunting. Best glasser, best e-scouter.
That's funny.
Best hunter, best cook, etc. So first, who should we throw in?
That's actually, whoever said that, that's funny. We should do that. We should do a content piece on this, Danielle.
We could.
It'd be funny.
We'll write it down.
Like a bunch of graphics over the top of us.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Let's start with Brady since he's not here and he's the most known. We'll start with Brady.
Okay. What I don't know. I mean,
glassing 90.
You think he's a 90?
Dude, that guy glass. I mean,
he can glass.
And he's just so deliberate.
Who has the highest glassing rating?
Him or Cody Nelson?
Oh yeah, Cody can glass.
Cody Nelson's probably the best.
I want to say I'm up there.
I'm not.
Really?
My glassing rating is.
I love glassing.
I like it, but I do love it. I genuinely love it, but I don't grid. I don't do. I kind of. That looks good. Let me look at this. This looks good. I mean, I can find animals. Don't get me wrong, but I would not say my Madden rating is 90 when it comes to glassing. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I would think the only my in the bars, that go across, I just don't see that good anymore. So that's definitely a downfall when it comes to glassing.
Yeah, but so you can't be a 90 at glassing.
A 90 when my vision is 20, whatever.
Yeah,
it's 80.
So let's stick with Brady here. What attributes make up a hunter? So glassing, he's a 90.
Okay.
Shooting, he's a 95.
Yeah, he's a good shot. He's in pretty good shape. He's a great e-scouter.
Great shape, great e-scouting. I would say he's
he probably gets for sure, hands down, the lowest cooking rating.
By far.
All the guy does make is burger, and he burgers everything.
Everything, and puts nothing on the burger.
No, very little in terms of seasoning. Maybe some salt and pepper. I said,
can I get some shredded lettuce, some diced onions? That's normal stuff, Brady.
Yeah, he's like a 10.
Normal. And he goes, I don't want to church it up like that. I'm like, dude, that is not churching it up. I'm not talking seasonings and fucking sauces.
Yeah.
Just some diced onions, man.
Yeah. What about Porter?
Hold on. Let's finish out. Let's get the attributes down. So glassing 90, shape 90. And this could be plus. I'm just saying he's A rating in these. Shooting 90. I would say stubbornness 90.
Is that a good thing or bad thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the willingness to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just nastiest, steepest.
Yeah.
Brady, dude, they're in the low country right now.
Yeah.
Nope, nasty. I'm going nasty and deep.
Yeah. That's the type of hunt he's looking for, though. Yeah. I guess I get that.
That's the inverse 90.
Yeah.
Making that an F.
He doesn't want to shoot a 190-inch buck off the road.
No, he literally would drive by it.
Yeah, I think he'd rather shoot a 150-inch buck in a hole. Yeah. Yes.
I think if we could, he might say nasty and deep more than Omar says I think that's
their comparison.
Yeah. So he's an F on that. He's an F on cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's kind of the attributes, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And then I would just say animalness.
Yeah, species behavior, analytics. Or
just animalness. You're
you mean
tuned in.
Stick-to-itiveness?
No. I mean
intuition.
I would say you're the highest.
Animal intuition.
The highest person I've ever hunted with is you on this one, where you just what the elk are going to do next without even them showing what they're going to do next. You got that elkiness in you.
I think you're being kind, but thank you.
No, I'm dead serious. I'd say Brady's decent with that.
Mm-hmm.
Passing C, B, maybe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say for sure.
You're the most
I'm kind of middle of the road with a lot of things. I'll accept that mediocre. I'm an okay shot. I'm not an amazing shot. I'm in okay shape. I'm not in great shape.
Your animalness is that's what shines.
I have a pretty good intuition, you might say. Yeah, when it comes to animals and where I think they're going to be and why.
You know what the animals are doing.
Yeah, that is
before they even make the move. You already know.
I'm in their heads,
which is pretty. It was pretty fucking impressive.
I'm just running around there rent free.
Every time I've hunted with you, I've noticed that.
Did you see Conor McGregor at a BYU game last night?
So weird. So weird.
I had to say that before I forgot.
Guy's just
very bizarre.
The wildest things to do.
Very bizarre.
So that'd be Brady. So overall, he's 90.
Yeah.
Porter, let's go with Porter.
Okay.
Cooking, 100.
Oh yeah, that's true. He does
like the guy you will gain weight on a backcountry hunt with Porter.
Yeah. He does he likes some fancy food. For sure.
Glassing.
70, 80.
Passing grade.
Passing
70?
grade. Yeah.
70.
It's a good glasser.
Yeah, he's just ADD.
Yeah, can't stick with it.
Yeah.
What about his shooting? Let's talk about Porter's shooting.
I mean, I guess it's passing.
Where's he at on shooting?
I guess it's passing because everything he shot, to his credit, everything he's ever shot at is dead.
Yeah, he kills stuff.
It's just the amount of bullets it takes.
He gives him a warning shot.
Yes. Look, knock on wood, because I would hate to put this on anybody, but guy hasn't wounded.
That's true.
It's either a
clean
warning
mess.
shot 6 foot over their head or the kill shot. It's one of the two.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess it's passing in that regard.
You think he's 50%?
Call it 70.
Okay.
Because they're all dead.
Sure.
None of them are wounded. They're all dead.
That's true. How's his fitness? Is he get after it pretty good?
Yeah, fitness. I would.
No problems
80.
packing out. No problems.
No, he can go.
He can get after it.
I'd say 80.
Okay.
B grade.
What about his intuition when he's in the woods, where he should be and why?
Not good. Because he's ADD.
What about his e-scouting abilities?
Good. Because he's logistics. Definitely all about logistics.
Definitely passing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's all about logistics.
I would say my e-scouting is got to be on the bottom end of
Mine
things.
too.
I don't spend a lot of time e-scouting.
Just get me there.
Yeah, get me there and I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. What do you think is your strong suit?
My strong suit is just get it figured out. Whatever's going on.
And I would say stick to itiveness. Yeah. You kind of set a goal in mind, you get after it.
Like
hard.
that. My gold star rating would be I'm just gonna fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
Wherever we're at, whatever's going on. Okay, this is what we got to do.
I will say too, the hunt that I did, the New Mexico elk hunt, you pulled off one of the most impressive shots on an animal I've seen.
Yeah.
I was like,
I was impressed.
I was like, wow, man, he just absolutely dead X that thing. And that was not an easy shot in a really stressful situation.
I would not say I am a good shot. I would not say that. If anybody shoots with me, I would not say I'm a good shot. I would say I'm a good killer.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to get a shot off to kill. It might not be, the prettiest form and prettiest this and all the things that would qualify as a good shot.
We've got a lot of shots on video in films that you've done where you've made good shots. Yeah. Like the Homestead.
Yeah.
10 ring.
Yeah.
I mean, just dead X'd him, and that wasn't an easy shot. And again, I mean, you have two bulls, big bulls fighting.
Yeah. That was high stress.
In a stressful situation. That's not easy to pull off. That bull that you shot in New Mexico, that bull's on a cow. He's getting out. He's getting out. He's moving country.
I had to count steps to get.
Yep.
I had to do the same thing on my elk in Nevada. I had to do the same thing on my deer in Utah, counting steps and all that. Yeah. For whatever reason, in a hunting situation, I'm a much better shot than target.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
It just
kind of flow state kind of a thing.
It might mean that you're good at being able to execute in a stressful situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which would make sense, I think.
Yeah. I would say I'm good. The stick-to-itiveness and that would be my gold star. Mm-hmm. Cooking, 0. I just eat bars and whatever's easy.
What about cooking when you get home?
0.
No, you don't cook at home.
Better than Brady. I shouldn't say 0 because
you're better than Brady. Brady's the worst.
20?
Yeah.
20%?
Yeah.
I'll at least throw in some diced tomatoes, some taco sauce, some good stuff.
What's Omar good
at?
Sour
cream. Omar's stick-to-itiveness for sure. I watched him do on his mule deer when I went up there and helped him kill that mule deer. And granted, he had already been doing 8 days of this by the time I got there with Bones and Jordan. And I really like Omar. I care for Omar. He does a lot of things. You can tell he cares about a lot of things. So I wanted to see him be successful. So we went up there and helped him.
Yep.
But me, Bones, and Jordan can say we went up there to help him, but what he did that day was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep telling him, like, don't get a fucking big head over this. Like, I'm actually giving you props on that. But
yeah,
it was incredible. Like, no matter what he had to do.
He's hungry.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Definitely hungry.
I would say that's his gold star rating.
Yeah, I agree. And you can't really, I don't know, you can't teach that.
No.
Like, you either got it or you don't. Like, you're either willing to do anything and die for it and keep at it and just go until you hit your goal or not. Yeah. You can't teach it.
That's Omar. That's his gold
Yeah.
rating. I would say his glassing, probably similar to mine, 70.
Yeah.
We just kind of, him and I, we've not ADD, but like also not just
every detail, every hour, just grind.
So him and I are probably similar there, 70. His physical level is 100.
Yeah, he's a goer.
Cooking 0.
Omar's running 100 miles. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that through the grapevine?
Yeah.
In May. He's trying to, I heard he's going to try to do like a little fundraiser somehow. So maybe we'll float this right here. So if anybody's got, I told him today, maybe we can figure out some means like where people can figure out how to donate for like every mile he runs or something. And then he wants to donate it back to some sort of conservation cause.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're trying to decide. He reached out last night and was like, what do you think what do you think would be a good cause? I'm trying to, I'll float this, but I thought Omar's like relatively new to hunting, like within the last few years.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years, 4 years. Kind of came into it as an adult. He's probably what right now? 18, 17? No, I'm just kidding. I think he's like 27, 28. But if anybody knows of any kind of organization that's like puts their money towards recruiting new hunters, like whether it's hunter education and paying for it, like kids or adults even that are on set that want to get into it, I think that'd be a cool opportunity for him.
I agree.
So if you guys know of any out there that are doing good things in that realm, hit us up. I'd like to know and explore it with him.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yep.
But yeah, he's there. Brandon is good at cooking, great at glassing.
Yeah.
He's pretty damn physical too. The 2 times I've been with him in Colorado, he's pretty physical.
He's a goer.
Yeah.
For sure. Brandon's a good shot too.
Yeah.
I've only shot with Brandon a few times, but like we've gone out on the archery range. I've always been like, Brandon's a sneaky like dark horse because he doesn't.
Absolutely.
You don't really see him shoot that much or talk. He never talks about it or anything like that. But when he shows up, you're like, that could be a guy that just sneaks in and whips everyone's butt.
We'll tie this one up with a bow here. We'll just do Brady A, you A, me and Omar B.
Nah, you're better.
I don't know.
Way better.
I don't e-scout like that. I don't have the animal. I don't e-scout like Brady. I don't have the animalness like you. So I would say those 2 things put you guys at the A level. Or like, Brady's shooting and this and that. It makes him an A. Mm-hmm. Your animalness makes you an A. I'd say me a B. Omar Porter probably like a high C.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Brandon probably a high B.
At least.
Yeah. Right?
I think so. Yeah. That's kind of fun. We should do a video about this.
We should do this.
It'd be fun. We'll try it.
It's got my my wheels turning.
We'll that's what we'll get some public input too. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a few more. We've been running. We're getting long. And man, we have so many more questions. We might have to do another one of these when Brady gets back just to get through a bunch of them. This is kind of an interesting one, kind of out of left field, but your favorite mount for elk? Shoulder mount, floor, pedestal, sneak, semi-sneak. What do you like?
I like the sneak shoulder.
Me too.
That's my favorite.
Me too.
Especially with big fronts.
Yeah.
Big front bull.
What's your take on a bugle and bull mount? Do you like those?
No.
Mouth open?
No.
Not really my jam either. But
tongue and all that looks so fake.
Yeah. I did see one the other day that Trophy Room Taxidermy did, those guys, that was bugling, and it looked pretty awesome. It's just weird because it's my favorite part about a bull elk is that they bugle, and I love when they're up close and personal and they just let one rip and you see their lip curl up,
But when they're stuck in that, they look goofy.
That's true. I never thought
like when your face freezes on FaceTime and you're like, oh, I look.
Oh yeah, that's always fun. It never freezes when you're just looking
good.
A 10,
never,
right?
Never.
It's always the most awkward.
Yeah, I would say sneak pose for sure. It's my favorite. I will say though, as I've started to, collect quite a few animals, I really do like Euro mounts a lot, especially on elk.
Yeah,
like a full skull.
Or even a skull
bleached.
cap looks great.
I don't like the skull cap. That's the Utah.
Put that on a board.
No,
looks
that's
amazing.
the Utah vibe. Put a piece of leather over the skull cap on a little 2x4.
I got no leather. That's just straight skull.
Yeah, I don't like
a lot of them still got a lot of guts and glory on them still.
Yeah,
as
don't
well.
like that. Don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I've really grown to like Euro mounts though. I think they're awesome.
I do like a sneak though. Quarter sneak. I do like that. This one says, now it's been released. Can Lorenzo talk or give us his thoughts on the new Mystery Ranch Mysterium pack?
Love it.
Anything different about it? Top of mind?
Yeah, suspension's different.
Okay.
The way the frame fits now is different. I wish I knew gear like you and could remember all this shit, but what they did differently with the frame as far as like the length of it fits way better. Remember we were telling them the issues before where the load shelf would ride too low because the frame was too small?
Well, the load shelf was hooked to the bottom of the bag or the bottom of the frame. Yeah,
yes.
so
and
like weight would just sit right on my hips.
So they fixed all of that. The suspension is it's softer to a certain extent, but then becomes actually firmer as you get it under more load, like when you actually have something to carry off. So it's actually whatever material they put in that is awesome. And then the load shelf being, you can actually manipulate it now. And I can't decide if I like this or not, but they actually added male female tethers on the meat shelf itself.
Oh, gotcha.
So like you don't have to just with the compression straps, you're not just holding it from there, you're actually holding it from straps on the frame.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Am I making sense there?
Yep.
And I feel like I really like it a lot, but I just don't know how many, like if I'm going to use that all the time forever.
Right.
But I did use it because it was new and I did like it.
You felt like it was an upgrade?
Yeah, but it was just another step to do.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I get lazy where I'm just like, get it on and get out.
Yeah. I haven't even looked at it yet, so I can't really speak to it, but
it's awesome.
Okay. Right on. So
and for the weight, like when you start comparing it to, like you look at the big Mysterium as opposed to the Metcalf Light, what you're gaining for the little bit of weight is actually, it's really nice.
Interesting. I don't know when we'll have those, but we'll have to do a breakdown.
Yeah.
We'll do a video.
It's definitely a step up from the year previous, or the years previous, I should say.
Very cool. Broadheads for elk, mechanical or fixed, and why? What's your take?
Well, I was so excited to shoot one this year with a mechanical for the first time ever.
Okay.
And Omar ate up the entire hunt. So
yeah.
I didn't get to.
My opinion, I had a guy reach out the other day and he was like, hey, he actually said, he's like, I think these mechanical broadheads that like a slip cam essentially where they slide out rear deploying, they, slide out of the ferrule and then they pivot, right? So like if you hit a bone, the blade pivots. He's like, I actually think those should be illegal. He gave me an example of a bull that he hit, felt like he'd hit it really well, and it went a distance he didn't feel it should go, kind of went uphill. But yeah, he basically said, I don't like mechanicals that much, and I definitely think this pivoting broadhead should be outlawed. And I just basically replied, I've had really good luck with them. For me, like I've told this story before, but I lost one spike with a mechanical, right? Prior to that, I killed a big bull and it was great. 49 yards, died 80 yards, dead as a doornail, hit a spike the next year, lost the spike. And I did feel like, I should have got better penetration. Looking back on it, I mean, that was like 2001 or two. I was shooting a Matthews Q2, so not a ton of energy. I don't know exactly. I think I hit that animal well, but it's really hard to say. And I would say based on the fact that my arrow didn't penetrate, I probably didn't hit as well as I thought I did, which is typical.
Do you want to get into this right now?
We can.
Do you want to?
No.
Do you want to?
No, not too deep.
You and I have had this conversation before.
Sure. Yeah, we can. We can get into it. What are you thinking?
What we've talked about.
Oh, you mean that when people say like I didn't get any penetration on a mechanical,
I pinwheeled this bull.
I pinwheeled it and I didn't get any penetration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think if you didn't get any penetration, you probably didn't pinwheel.
You did not pinwheel.
Yeah, I think you probably hit something that stopped the broadhead. Whether it's any kind of mechanical, if you're shooting ample draw weight, draw length, decent feet per second, decent kinetic energy, heavy enough arrow, like I don't care if it's a fixed blade, if it's a mechanical that folds back. If you hit it, you're probably going to get enough penetration to kill the animal.
If you pinwheel it. If you pinwheel, and that like, there's no loose definition of pinwheel. Like that is a very tight definition.
Yeah.
Pinwheel means right there in the heart or just above,
double
no
lung.
bone in the way, double lung. If you had a field tip, you're going to get enough penetration.
Yeah.
If you pinwheel. So I think the
you get
loose,
more with a failed tip, but you're right. Point taken is it's dead.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
If like the people talking about pinwheeling and with the mechanical and mechanicals are shit, don't ever shoot them. Like you didn't pinwheel the animal first off. There's no way. If that was the outcome, there's no way.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, maybe you guys can send me some examples and show me where you pinwheeled an animal with a mechanical and you didn't get any penetration. And I'd be interested in exploring what it was that you shot and your total setup. But in my opinion, if you pinwheel an animal with a mechanical, everything else being, considered, if you're shooting a proper setup, like it's going to penetrate and die. Yeah. So if you get no penetration, it's a thwack and you're busting the arrow off, 2 or 3 inches, you probably hit something you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So all that to say, I will continue to shoot sever broadheads. I've had great penetration. I've had great blood trails. I've had really good results. I've also hit some animals poorly due to me, my mistake.
Yeah.
And didn't find them.
Do you think it would be any different with the fixed blade though?
No, it wouldn't. I'm not killing any animal that I've hit that I haven't found. I would not have found or killed because I shot a fixed blade.
Yeah.
I'll say that. I feel pretty confident in saying that. And my reasons for shooting a mechanical is one, it's funny too. Everybody that messages me this type of message and says, they all say, man, that thing flies like a dart, man, they're accurate. And I'm like, that's the biggest hurdle. That's first and foremost, in my opinion. Like accuracy, hitting where you're intending, more forgiving. So whether you're talking wind, whatever it might be, factor, like if you're leaning into a shot or you're not perfectly balanced, right? Like if that arrow combo is more forgiving, that's the thing I'm most concerned about.
Agreed.
So I'm going to shoot mechanicals.
Yeah.
And that's why. And I've killed a lot of animals with mechanical. I've killed a lot with fixed blades too, but I've got better blood trails and I think my mechanicals are more accurate.
I've only shot fixed blades and I've moved to mechanicals because of you and I comparing blood trails.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll compare results after this year. After you shoot a bunch of animals with a mechanical, we'll see how you feel.
Let's go
about it.
Hopefully that's the case.
Yeah. Okay, we'll ask a couple more. We'll do a couple more. So we'll do a quick one here. This guy says, Arizona elk worth applying if I'm just starting at 37. I've never applied before. I would say yes. I just did the Arizona elk application strategy article. That deadline's coming up February 4th. As you look down through all the various hunts that are available to you, there's actually quite a lot of hunts, whether you're a late season, I wouldn't say early season. Those are really tough to draw. There's a random component of this. There is some chance to draw those, but really if you look at the late rifle hunts, they are increasing the number of permits. Also late archery hunts, those are relatively easy to draw. And a lot of those you can draw with anywhere from like 4 to maybe 10 points.
Yeah.
So I would say, if you're 37, you just get started. I'd say by the time you're in your mid 40s, if you're a rifle hunter, you could probably go on a pretty decent late season rifle hunt and have a great time.
Yeah. Arizona's always been an interesting one to me that people deem it as not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually like, I look at it more as an opportunity state for a non-resident than
that's how I look at it. But it's the types of hunts that I choose.
Yeah, correct. Mm-hmm. If you're somebody who just wants elk tags and wants to go elk hunting, then Arizona should absolutely be on your list.
Yeah, because there's a lot of those mid-tier, like I said, anywhere from 5 to 10 points.
Yeah.
There's quite a bunch that are available to you in that realm.
Yeah.
And it seems to me, I can't say like unequivocally this is the way that Arizona is heading, but looking at the number of tags they're allocating for some of these late season rifle hunts, it seems to me that they're moving a little bit more skewed in the opportunity type of realm rather than trying to produce,
I would agree,
430-inch bulls in every single unit.
I would agree.
Yeah. All right, we'll wrap this up. Maybe we'll do one more. I wanted to hit, man, there's actually two more. I'll do two more.
Okay.
You got to pee?
No.
Oh, I do.
I'm good to
go. This guy says, young hunter, just getting started into hunting. What are three, doesn't have a ton of money. What 3 states should be on his list to build points in?
You'd be better served for answering that one.
I would say Colorado for sure.
Yeah.
So Colorado, deer, elk, and antelope. I would leave the other, moose, sheep, goat. Those are going to cost you quite a bit more money to build points for those. But I would say definitely deer, elk, and antelope in Colorado. Next, I would probably say bonus points in Montana and preference points when it makes sense. So you're going to have to dive in, do a little research on the way their preference points system works for general season deer and elk. But I would put that in the list. I would probably put Wyoming in there for deer, elk, and antelope. You can go on an antelope hunt relatively soon. Same with deer. There's a lot of general season deer hunts in Wyoming that you can draw with very few points. Elk, it's getting a little tougher, but you can still draw that general season elk tag, I would say, as a non-resident in that 5-point window right now, somewhere in that realm. And if you're willing to spend a little more money, maybe easier. So I would say Wyoming, Montana, I would say Colorado. And then I would apply in states like New Mexico, which are totally random.
Yep.
You got to front the cost, but again, you're not penalized for not building points. You're basically on the same playing field as everybody else. So I would probably put those 3 and then consider some other states just in the mix.
Yep.
General season deer in Utah, I think, is interesting. You do have to buy the hunting license to apply, which is $120, but like every 3 to 5, 6 years, you can go on a general season deer hunt in Utah. It's a pretty fun hunt.
It is a fun hunt.
Yeah. Okay, I got one more, and I know this one's probably going to blindside you, but I would be interested in hearing your thoughts. And I'm only answering this because the guy reached out via DM, and then he also sent it in.
No way to end a podcast like being blindsided. So let's go. And
I haven't responded to the guy. Okay, so he says thoughts and feelings on Wyoming House Bill 286, and I just barely looked into it, but it looks. So basically what this is, it's a House bill that essentially is making mountain lions in the state of Wyoming almost like a varmint species. Like essentially you'd be able to shoot one if you had a deer, elk, any license, you'd be able to shoot one, removing pursuit seasons, allow trapping. It's essentially being done in the name of we're going to try to help mule deer, and we're going all out war on mountain lions.
Yeah.
How do I feel about it?
Love it.
Do you like it?
I love it.
I'm kind of on the fence.
Why?
For one, I have a lot of respect for houndsmen, and I know that they really like.
Oh wait, hold on. So, to explain this, what are you saying?
So yeah, let me lay it out. I'll lay out my case.
Why did you go to houndsman? Because I'm taking it as you can just hunt them whenever as houndsman.
Yeah, and you could, but the thing is like if you go all out war on mountain lions, there'll be probably a lot more of them harvested and killed. So the chances for those guys to find and run a large tom is going to be harder, right? It's going to be harder to find a big tom. Like so I don't necessarily love that. The other part of this is like They manage mountain lions, and they have been doing so for a lot of years, and it seems to be doing okay. Understandably, I know that mule deer are hurting, and that could be a factor. I guess I'm not totally on board with making them shoot on sight vermin type species. I guess I would like to see it be a little bit more regulated, probably more like it is currently, where you can hunt them, but it's more regulated. And I would like to probably see them target them more when it probably is a bigger factor, maybe, times a year. And
yeah. Full disclosure, I've done no research.
I know. And that's why I said completely blindsided.
Yeah.
Totally blindsided.
At face value though,
mm-hmm.
At face value, I do think the predator control is bottom of the bucket in every state.
Yeah.
I mean, it is it's bad. And I think hunters, including myself, absolutely, I'm yelling at myself when I say this too, but like the amount of prey species I've killed compared to the amount of predator species I've killed is way out of whack. It's like wildly out of whack. And if you're making it easier for me as a hunter to kill predator species, I would be more apt to go actually be part of the solution. Where right now I am part of the problem.
Yeah, you might.
I'm overtaking prey animals.
You might take one opportunistically.
Yeah. So like when you first read it at face value, I'm like, yeah, I would. Because I've been on hunts in states where I'm like, man, I wish I could kill that right now, and I don't see any value as to why I can't. You know, it's like that's one less lion on the landscape. I'm already out here.
Sure.
You know, it's like what Idaho does. You know.
Yeah. And I think Idaho does it relatively successfully, right?
Yeah, and so I really like it from that standpoint. It's making my life easier as being part of the solution, as opposed to part of the problem.
I was really interested in talking to, we had Brock McMillan on. I've talked to Randy, those guys are both professors at BYU. I talked to Dax at the Utah Division of Wildlife, and it was really interesting to me to say that like, maybe there's a little bit of a paradigm shift, and that like we're actually considering maybe some areas actually are being like the bottleneck is predation. It is lions. I don't know how you identify that like on a landscape scale in a state like Wyoming if you haven't like really intently studied it. So to me, it's hard. It's like I'm kind of on the fence. Like as a blanket statement, just saying, "Hey, let's remove all of them." It's hard for me to stomach. It's like I don't know how I
don't want to remove all of them.
Not all of them.
But that's how I feel about wolves, though. Too. I don't want to remove all the wolves.
Sure.
I just want to manage them the way that we said was best to manage them when we started.
Yeah.
Same with the grizzly bears.
Which is kind of I mean,
and lions, like there's got to be there has to be a better way. Because in some places, it is proven that is a major bottleneck.
Yeah.
It is. It's proven through data. Like in some places, I'm not going to say all places.
Well, here's the thing is like if you do it in the name of mule deer, it's not going to hurt mule deer.
Yeah. Very true.
Do you know what I mean?
Very true.
Like if you do this, it's not going to hurt your populations. I mean, it probably would help. And I know that there are definitely portions of the state that are struggling. That Wyoming herd, I mean, we had that really bad winter. We killed off a lot of deer. And then if you compound that with predation, it's not helping. So I don't know. Maybe I feel okay about it.
I don't want to blast them off the face of the earth like mosquitoes. I would be happy with 0 mosquitoes on planet Earth. Lions, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't want that to happen at all. But I've seen more lions than I feel like I should. And I don't have the opportunity to kill one.
Right. I guess my approach would be is I would like it. I guess I would feel more warm and fuzzy about it if we had more data to back it up.
True.
Like if it was,
I would agree. Yeah, I definitely like to make decisions based on.
And again, I would
knowledge.
like to probably dive down the rabbit hole of like what current management is for lions in a state like Wyoming and how many they harvest and where and what it does to prey biology and how many what it does is to population levels. I would like to explore that probably a little bit more before I definitively say one way or the other.
Yeah.
But I would just say, maybe for a time frame, maybe it's okay. I mean, where those herds are struggling, maybe it's good. Maybe it's all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tough one. Maybe we'll do
I would like to know the research on it.
Yeah, me too.
Because once I'm sound on that.
But
at face value, I do like it. I don't like the houndsman being affected. I don't like that at all. Yeah.
And maybe this is one of those ones. Every now and then I'll get a request from somebody. They'll say, "Hey, you guys need to do like, a revisit. You need to do kind of some homework and then come back and revisit one. This will probably be one of them. We come back and recheck." But I did promise the individual I would make some sort of.
Did he give any 2 cents on it?
Nope, hasn't. But I think in theory it's interesting based on where I would say if populations of deer were healthy, I would probably be against it. I would say, no, what we're doing is working. But where we have populations that are probably struggling to rebound, it's going to take them some time to get back on their feet. Maybe for a time frame, it's probably an okay thing. And I don't think you're ever going to wipe them off the face of the earth. They're just too damn hard to find and kill.
Yeah. Just to be clear, I do not want that.
Yeah.
For any animal.
Yeah.
I just want them to be managed at the right levels.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that was, we have a bunch more, but we're probably 2 hours, pushing 2 hours, which is a long time for you and I to carry this wave. Look at us doing it, Brady. We did it without you.
Look at us go.
Well, you're out there slaying hogs. We're just here doing it. But yeah, maybe we'll do some of the others in the future, but we appreciate everybody submitting questions.
See you.